Hello everyone. So, in last session we have started the discussion of distribution and density of population. So, the distribution of population we have learned. Now we'll move to the next topic, that is density of population. Density of population, or simply the population density, is simply referring to an element where we are just interested in knowing that how many people are residing in 1 square kilometer area. So the number of people living in a square kilometer area is simply referred as population density, or simply density of population. As far as density is concerned, we have the different element or the different methodology to measure the density. This method of density of population is also referred as arithmetic density. We also enumerate the agricultural density. We also enumerate the arable density. So we have the different methodology to measure the density, but the most popular method, or you can say the method which is important for our demography, population geography, is the arithmetic density. So arithmetic density, simply write a line. Arithmetic density simply refers to number of people living in per square kilometer. Per square kilometer. As far as, don't write, just wait a second. As far as this state of world population report 2023 is concerned, so it has not highlighted the density. You can note it down. As per 2014 world population data sheet, the most populous country, China, was having 143 persons per square kilometer density. Whereas India was having 382 persons per square kilometer. China 143. Bangladesh was having around 1101. Bangladesh was having around 1101. USA 33. Japan 336. So these are few data, will give more data. But in India also, if you will look out that let's say we have India. So in India, we have 382 population density. What it means? How this density is generally being calculated? So the population density or arithmetic density is simply calculated based on total population divided by total area. So the total population divided by total area is the population density. As far as India is concerned, India was having around 10 million population. And as far as India is concerned, so we have around 32,87,255 the surface area. So when you will divide this, you will find 382. But this 382 is not the population density everywhere. We have very major variation. As per 2011 census, the Delhi was having population density of around 11,000 persons per square kilometer. So imagine, in a square kilometer area in Delhi, you will have around 11,000 people, which is expected to rise as per next census, जब भी होगी 2022-23, we are expecting that this time this number has increased almost 35,000. So more than tripled the population density. Whereas at the same time, if you will have the places like Northeast में the population density is very low. One of the state where you will have the lowest population density is Arunachal Pradesh, where the population density is only 17 persons per square kilometer. So 1 kilometer area mein you will have the 17%. Population density is very important measure to look out the level of development or how the resources are being utilized. So population density is not simply a arithmetic measurement of the number of people living in per square kilometer area, but the population density also gives us lots of information. High population density simply refers that yes, population concentration is high. High population density simply refers that here you will have the large number of resources, resource abundance. So all the things are very much available in that area. As far as the world is concerned, like in India, so throughout the world also we have the population density which is not uniform. Because the population distribution is not uniform, so the density will not be uniform. Some of the area you will find very high population density, but majority of the area you will find population density is very low. So please write, on the basis of population density, the world has been divided in 4 categories. 4 categories. Category number 1, areas of high density. Areas of high density. Here the population density is more than 100 persons per square kilometer. Medium density is when population density is between 51 to 100 persons per square kilometer. Areas of low density 11 to 50. Areas of very low density, and this areas of very low density is less than 10. Areas of very low density less than, in fact it is ठीक है. So areas of high density, all those areas where we have the population density is more than 100 persons. Please write few of the countries where the population density is more than 100. Population density in general, before noting now, tell me at the continent level where you will have the high population density. Asia is one of the area, ठीक है. Any other region? What about Africa? What about Africa? Africa we have high population density or low or moderate? Why? Living condition is not good. ठीक है. Anything else? Population growth rate, where you will have the high population growth rate? Continent level. अफ्रीका. बर्थ रेट वही हो गया, बर्थ रेट ही पॉपुलेशन ग्रोथ रेट इन सिंपल वर्ड. दैट इज वन ऑफ द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इंडिकेटर ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग द बर्थ एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग द पॉपुलेशन ग्रोथ रेट. तो पॉपुलेशन ग्रोथ रेट, where you will find that the population growth rate is higher in the world at continent level? Europe is one of the country, one of the area. ठीक है. Any other? India, Asia. ठीक है. What else? In general, what you need to remember is any of the western region where you will have the modernization is there, population growth will not be higher. So like Europe, like North America, South America, here you will have the population growth will always be very low. And in fact, that is one of the biggest problem related to the population in those continents. But as far as the continent like Africa is concerned and Asia is concerned, Asia and Africa, these are the two at continent level where population growth is higher. But in fact, over the period of time, you will find that in Asia also, population growth is stabilizing. So even the countries like India, also population growth is stabilizing. तो population growth Asia में था, but अभी Asia का भी population growth is very much declining. Yes, it is not as low as you will have in Europe or North America, barring only country like Japan. When it comes to the Africa, Africa is still having very high growth rate, high population growth rate. But problem is that in case of Asia, growth rate was higher, population growth, fertility, but here mortality was very low. So fertility was higher, mortality was very low, so obviously the population size will increase. Africa is facing a critical or typical situation where fertility is one of the highest in the world, but also the mortality is one of the highest in the world. And that is why the population growth or overall population will not be that much higher. And so the density, barring only few regions, the density is also not that much higher. So the biggest problem in case of Africa is the civil war, the diseases, poverty. So these are problems of water. So the civil war, diseases, problems of water, poverty, these are the factors. Please note down areas of high density. So in areas of high density, mainly we have East Asia, in East Asia we have South Korea 507, Japan 336, North Korea 206, China 143. North Korea 206, China 143. Then we have the second pocket, South Asia. So in South Asia we have India, where population density is 382, Bangladesh 1101, Pakistan 244, Sri Lanka 315. Then we have Southeast Asia. In Southeast Asia we have Singapore, (8,034), Vietnam 273, Philippines 334, Thailand 129. Also, high population density is there in northwestern and central Europe. Northwestern and central Europe. So here we have Netherlands, 406, Germany 226, UK 266, Italy is having 204. The next area of medium population density. Medium population is between 51 to 100. So here you will have in Europe countries like Romania, Spain, Greece, Almost list is long. One country, you can note it down on more country. Ukraine. Ukraine लिखा नहीं लिखा? Ukraine. Almost most of the smaller countries of Europe, you will find the population density is 51 to 100. We have Ireland, Croatia, Bosnia, Bulgaria, Georgia, Lithuania, Uzbekistan. All right. Coming to the Asia, in Asia primarily we have Cambodia, Malaysia, Myanmar. Then we have Africa. In Africa we have Ethiopia, Egypt, Morocco, Tunisia. So these are the areas of medium population density. Quickly note down the areas of low population density. So low population density is recorded in Ecuador, Panama, Peru, South Africa, Tajikistan, Saudi Arabia, so these are the regions, countries of low density. Moving to the areas of very low density, you should be very clear that the areas of very low density will be only those areas where there will be extremities, there will be some limitation, be it climatic limitation, be it geographical limitation, resource limitation, there will be some problem. Please write. So, very low population density is existing, very low population density is existing in most of mountainous countries. In most of mountainous countries. Most of mountainous countries. In cold countries of Russia, Canada, then we have arid country of Kazakhstan, almost 2/3 area of Australia, Sahara Desert, also in Central Africa, mainly in Congo Basin. Congo Basin. Just do one thing, open your atlas and try to locate this Congo. Congo was very hot topic in this prelims. तो बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस इस बार अराउंड 3 क्वेश्चंस में कॉन्गो का रेफरेंस था. So just locate this river Congo. So Congo River you will find in central part of Africa. Now look out the countries where this on the other side you will have the political map. So in political map, look out the countries where Congo River is there. We'll do the map work. We'll do the map work in later part. We'll start the map work, and first of all, we'll do from the next week. We'll start from the continent wise. So first we'll do for the North America, then South America, then Africa. So when we'll do that, we'll definitely look out. All right. So this is about the distribution of the density, population density in the world. In India also we have the variation of the population density and how it varies, or what are the high density area, low density area, medium density area. So that we will cover when we will cover the demographic attributes. So पहले हम लोग कुछ theoretical part पढ़ते हैं. First we need to learn some of the theoretical part, and then we'll move to the demographic attributes of India. Two demographic attributes you need to know, and I will sensitize you. When it comes to the population change, I think in last class also I must have told you, population change, what are the main elements through which population changes? So what are the three elements through which population changes? Birth rate, then death rate, and migration. In simple, birth rate we refer it as a fertility. This is mortality. So fertility, mortality, and migration are the three important elements of the population changes. Let's start. Let's start with fertility. So in simple word, what is fertility? If we want to just look out the fertility in very simple word, so that is your crude birth rate. Now what is crude birth rate? Just write a line. Number of child born in a given year to per thousand living population. Living population. So in simple word, that whatever the number of people, number of children are borning in, they are coming in this world in any particular year. So this year is very important. So it can be whatever, let's say in our country it is 1st Jan to 31st December. But it can be anything. But time frame is important. So we are looking out in 1 year. It is not the random. Now, this is a definition, but in general, fertility is also associated, in simple word, when we are going to arithmetic way, we will look out the crude birth rate. But in simple word, when we use the term fertility, it is associated with total fertility rate. We call it as TFR. Total fertility rate. It is referred as TFR. Now, what is this TFR is? Try to understand. As far as TFR is concerned, it is simply associated with how many children any woman can have in her fertile period. This fertile period is of between 15 year to 49 year. 15 year to 49 year. This fertile period is also referred as fecundity period. You can write a line. The average number of children a woman would have assuming current age specific birth rates, remain constant throughout her childbearing years. Which is generally considered as 15 to 49 years. One more thing. There are few things that you need to understand. So this is a generalized calculation that how many children a woman can have. So the calculation will be in fraction, but you need to be clear that the children cannot be in fraction, right? So this is only mathematical aspect. As far as fertility rate TFR is concerned, we refer a TFR as replacement level. So which TFR is referred as replacement level? 2.1. If in any country, जैसे अगर आप when we will go for the analysis of our country, then you will find in India, barring only few of the states like we have the Uttar Pradesh, we have West Bengal, Bihar, Maharashtra. So barring only some of the bigger state, majority of states in our country, they have the TFR below 2.1. TFR below 2.1 is referred as below replacement level. कहने का मतलब यह है कि अभी जो हमारी प्रेजेंट जनरेशन है, प्रेजेंट जनरेशन और प्रेजेंट population, if we want that present population should be replaced, equal number of present population should be replaced to the next generation. So for that we need TFR should be 2.1 और above. लेकिन अगर इसके नीचे गया तो अगर हमारी पॉपुलेशन इस जनरेशन में 100 है तो नेक्स्ट जनरेशन में 90 हो सकती है. China has faced this. Why China has faced? Because China population was also very rapidly growing. India's population was also rapidly growing. दोनों को लगा कि हमें पॉपुलेशन पॉलिसीज बनानी चाहिए. पॉपुलेशन पॉलिसीज कैसे बनानी चाहिए. सो इंडिया ऑल्सो ट्राइड, बट इंडिया बीइंग अ डेमोक्रेटिक कंट्री फेल. In fact, Mrs. Gandhi's power, she need to sacrifice her power, because in the present time period, yes, that was a black phase in our democracy, that is the emergency. But Mrs. Gandhi have lost very badly, not only because of the emergency. Yes, emergency was bad. Emergency, Congress party or Mrs. Gandhi can never justify. But in general, in that time period, the mode of communication or medium of communication was not that much prevalent. So in that time period, the aura, the kind of popularity Mrs. Gandhi was having, so might be the rural people or the general people were not that much concerned about whether emergency have been imposed or not. But at the same time, they also has gone for the forceful sterilization, which has almost revolted the masses against the Mrs. Gandhi. So India has very bad experience related to the controlling of population. Almost from that time period, it has been clearly unwritten rule for the government in the center that we will not bring any kind of regressive measures related to the population. Almost from the 1980s onward, government is trying very hard. So you must have been seen some of the slogans, some of the messages like hum do, hamare do, population measures, some of the family planning, different methods that are available in our country is being propagated. From different quarter, specifically the politicians, you will find that they always suggest or they always demand that government should come out like China we have the single child policy, in India also we should have a two child policy. But जब आप लोग ये पूरी पॉपुलेशन ज्योग्राफी पढ़ लोगे, मुझे लगेगा, आई एम वेरी मच श्योर कि यू विल ऑल्सो थिंक लाइक दैट एनी कंट्री डोंट रिक्वायर एनी काइंड ऑफ पॉलिसी. वी नीड टू सेंसिटाइज आवर पॉपुलेशन. हैव यू एवर सीन in most of the urban areas, specifically the people that are doing well, economically well, have you ever seen that they have more than 3 children? Almost in last 30-35 you will not find. And 3 children is also very less prevalent. And in fact, in urban societies where both male and female is working, they are going for the single child, but nowhere is written in our country that you should go with the single child. Because the cost of living and all those things, the same thing is being suggested by the Marx, the same thing is being suggested by the demographic transition theory. People will accustomed with the luxury. When the people will accustomed with the luxury, they are not going to have more number of children. क्योंकि पेरेंट को हमेशा लगेगा अगर एक चिल्ड्रन से ज्यादा हो जाएंगे तो मैं उनको अच्छे स्कूल में नहीं भेज पाऊंगा, यूपीएससी की तैयारी नहीं करा पाऊंगा. सो ऑल दीज थिंग्स ऑलवेज इन देयर माइंड, दे विल नॉट गो इन दैट लार्ज नंबर ऑफ चिल्ड्रन. Specifically in urban areas, you will find in urban areas in our countries, number of female participation is increasing. When the number of female participation is increasing to take care of the children in our societies, yes, we are having advancement, we are having like girls education, everything has increased, but still it is being considered that the taking care of children is the duty of women. So if it is the duty of women, so everyone will expect that the women should quit their job. So ultimately it will impact the career. Government has come out with some of the you can say progressive measure like providing the maternity leaves benefit, but nobody is interested in going for the maternity leave frequently because it will impact their career, their growth, their progress. That is the reason why most of the people in urban area, even in India, also going for the single child. And exactly same has happened in China. So China brought the single child policy. So China brought the single child policy in this hope that the population will stabilize. But ultimately what has happened? More and more people have participated in the workforce. और China में थोड़ा workforce different है. India has also seen industrialization, China has also seen industrialization. But China का जब industrialization हो रहा था, like in India, at the time of industrialization in cities area, there will be job opportunity. So most of the time, who will move in the job from the rural area? Male. So in India, it was the male-centric migration. But in China it was opposite. Male was staying at home, male was taking care of the agricultural land. So male's responsibility was to look after the family, look after the agriculture, and female was going in city area to work in the industry. So over the period of time, more and more female initially participated in manufacturing, later on in service sector. So the female participation in work has increased. Now once the female participation in work has increased, so even if the China is now trying very hard to have more number of children, the woman is not interested to have more number of children. And that is why the China is facing this crisis, that their population is going down, and in fact India has surpassed the China. Alright. Next, please note down the factors determinant of fertility. Factors determinant of fertility. Now, what are the some determinant of fertility which you can think of? What can be some of the determinant of fertility, factor of fertility? Just try to think. क्या क्या consideration हो सकते हैं? Health. All right. How health?
Healthy woman है तो ज़्यादा मतलब होता है, ज़्यादा child produce करने में interested होगी.
All right. ठीक है. Anything else? Biological factor happens to be one of the important indicator. Whenever the women are going to marry at the early age, in general, yes, fecundity period is 15 to 49. But this 15 to 25 year is almost most productive. In fact, it is 15 to 20. So it is like highly productive. So if any woman is going to marry at the age of 15, 16, immediately they will become a mother. That is why you will find in our country, first we have increased to the age of marriage is 18, and now we have a demand from different quarters 21. In urban area, or you can say in societies which are comparatively middle class. So in middle class in the present time period, you will not find that any woman is marrying or any girl is marrying before. एक बहुत जनरल सा आजकल एज हो गई है 25 से पहले. Even this age is now जो mostly those who are in education or they are studying, this age can go up to 30, 32. If you will look out in our societies, just 14, 15 year back, if some girl's age is almost 30, it was being tagged that nobody will marry you. But now it is very common to have 30, 32 years is normal marriage age. So what is happening when the girl is marrying of late? So it's a quite evident, that is biological. Usme in general we are not that girl or that boy has nothing to do, that both the person has nothing to do with. So simply if they are marrying early, so fertility will be higher. So that is why in early time period, just few years back, when the marriage was being done in early age, so the fertility will always be higher. Fertility, that is a different issue. As far as health is concerned, So health is like, if they will be healthy, so the child will be healthy. So that is the nutritional aspect. Yes, this is also one of the biggest problem, because when the girls are going to marry at early age, let's say at 16, 17, their body is, yes, biologically they are very fertile, but body is not that much, you can say, healthy to bear the children. So if they will bear the children at this age of 16, 17, so first their health will get affected, and more importantly the health of child. So the child that will be born will be more in, like, quite possibility that it will be malnourished, its overall health will not that much good. So biological factor happens to be one of the important factor of fertility. Then you will have social factor. How the social factor? So here you can give some examples, like earlier it was child marriage, and in present time period, like still in some of the states like Rajasthan, we have a prevalent of child marriages. So their child marriages is quite prevalent. So many laws, so many restrictions have been put up, but still yes, in social, yes, you can write the sun meta preference, जिसको हम लोग बाद में पढ़ेंगे. Sun meta preference, yes, sun meta preference. So you can say that until unless the desired number of boys will not be born, they need to keep on producing, yes. Then also you will have the factors like, other than the social, economic factor. जितने ज़्यादा? No, ये social में लिख सकते हो आप. Economic is like rich and poor. So here you can talk about, आगे हम लोग पढ़ेंगे मार्क्स का आइडिया, तो वो यहाँ पे applicable है, rich and poor. Rich, you will find that their number of children will be less. Poor, you will find the number of children is more, because the poor is having this mindset that my child is going to take out whole family from this burden of poverty. But rich is having mindset that how well I can give the benefit and all those facility to my kid, my child. So yes, and this rich poor is very much prevalent in rural and urban area. सोसाइटीज का इफेक्ट है, बट अगर आप देखेंगे इन द प्रेजेंट टाइम पीरियड, दोज हु आर लिविंग इन अर्बन एरिया, so very few, almost only in some of the slum area or in some of the societies, in most of the middle class families, until unless, let's say, first child was twin or the second child was twin, which is not in control of any individual. But in most of the urban area, you will not find that the people are having more than two child also. So the economic aspect has, because society, our country is also moving to which direction? Materialistic society. Everyone wants have the better life, luxurious life. गाड़ी है, छोटी गाड़ी है, बड़ी गाड़ी चाहिए, घर है, छोटा घर है, बड़ा चाहिए, स्कूल जा रहे हैं, छोटे स्कूल में जा रहे हैं, अच्छे स्कूल में जाना, सबको भेजना है. So in that aspect, economic aspect is playing a bigger role. So this you can elaborate that when the people are having poor, so obviously in the poor societies, the fertility rate will be higher. In case of rich people, the fertility rate will be lesser. Then even in biological, you can also write about some of the diseases, like there is a prevalent disease in tribals, sickle cell anemia. So sickle cell anemia is a prevalent disease which is prevalent in some of the tribes, specifically the tribes of Gujarat. So sometimes biological diseases also plays important role. Then there is one more factor, demographic. Demographic, population related. So these are some of the factors that you can write. Factors are determinants of fertility. Write a short note. Write a short note on determinants of fertility. Determinants of fertility. So this you should try to write in 150 words. Word limit भी लिखिए 150 words. As of now, all those who have connected with me online, तो उनके लिए you will have the office number. तो अभी क्या करेंगे आप लोग? You will just write the answer. Try to write on A4 sheet. जो भी आपका daily answer writing है, try to write on separate A4 sheet. And these days you will find that UPSC notebook is available in a spiral form, but those who are new, so they need to follow some pattern. When you will take a A4 sheet, so let's say this is your A4 sheet. You need to keep some margin on the left. You need to keep some margin on top. You need to keep some margin on the down, bottom. And also you need to keep some margin on the right. So this should be the standard pattern. If you are getting that sheet, that is fine. Otherwise this sheet will be provided by us also, but not at this point. When the account will be created and everything will be in your account, so that will be done. तो अभी आप क्या कर सकते हैं? As of now, just take a A4 sheet and on that A4 sheet write the question, and then you can draw the line like this and then write here. And try to write in your natural way how you are supposed to write. Whenever you are writing, लिखने से पहले यू कैन रिवाइज द नोट्स, यू कैन रेफर. कोई अगर आप बुक पढ़ना चाहते हैं, एनसीईआरटी पढ़ना चाहते हैं, ट्राई टू रिवाइज इट. बट वंस यू आर राइटिंग, सो राइट इट फॉर 10-15 मिनट्स विदाउट लुकिंग एनीथिंग. जो भी आपके दिमाग में आता आप लिखिए और ट्राई करिए कि जो आप लिखेंगे इट शुड बी इन योर ओन वर्ड. So here it should be visible that you are writing. It should not be visible like you have opened your class notes और उसी से देख के आप लिख रहे हैं. It is not going to help you out. Point number 1. So when this type of question is being asked, you can use your understanding. जो आपने क्लास में सीखी, जो आपने क्लास में सीखा, वो आप यूज कर सकते हैं. The second thing is we will also learn lot of theories. So हम बहुत सारी theories भी पढ़ेंगे. तो जो theories पेपर 1 में पढ़ेंगे, when some question is being given to you related to that theories, so in that theories you are not having the leverage of your own interpretation. So theory के case में you are bound. You are not having any scope to write any other thing. Whatever the theorists have suggested, so whatever the Wegener has suggested, you have to write. So don't try to interpret. So Wegener whatever has suggested, you have to write. Whatever the Malthus has suggested, you have to write. If critical evaluation is being asked, then you can evaluate. But if the theory is being asked, so you need to stick to the concept. Paper 1 में थोड़ा सा आपको these are the things that you need to learn, and you will be learning only through the daily answer writing. So try to start your answer. So this is a question for today. Alright. We also have mortality. So what are the main factors of mortality? What could be the main factor of mortality? Think about it. Survival? Survival like what? So here the topmost is health facilities. ठीक है? Health facilities. What else? और क्या हो सकता है? Think yourself. It will be almost when you will start thinking by yourself, you will be able to look out beyond your geography. आप जो in general इतनी life में most of you must be above 20 year. So somebody can be of 25, somebody can be 21, but आपने भी बहुत सारी चीजें देखी है. So this UPSC is all about that how well you are taking the examples from somewhere you have visited, something you have witnessed and you have need to write. जितना अच्छा अगर आप वो करेंगे उतना ही अच्छा आपका आंसर रहेगा, बिलीव मी. और ज्योग्राफी में तो अभी आगे आपको ऐसे ऐसे दिखेगा, देन यू विल रियलाइज दैट हाउ कंटेम्पररी द ज्योग्राफी इज. एनी अदर थिंग जो आपको लगता हो? फूड एंड सो यस यू कैन से इकोनॉमिक. You will always find that the mortality is low in case of rich people as compared to poor people, be it related to the child mortality or be it related to the normal death rate, because they are having the more accessibility of healthcare facilities, they are having more accessibility of food items. Most of the malnourished children will belonging to the poor people. Yes, government has come out with different schemes. So Poshan Abhiyan is there, then in school there is a midday meal scheme that is being provided, but still there has been lot of things to do. All right, what else? Demographic aspect is also there. Some area like I just have given the example of Africa. So a civil war is there. Like in the present time period, most of the West Asia, Central Asia, Russia, Ukraine. So these are also part of demographic aspect. What else? So these are the main aspect of mortality. Note down one more question. Yes, बहुत सारे हो सकते हैं. पहले क्वेश्चन लिखो. Write a short note on. Write a short note on. Factors of mortality. Climate, geography is also one of the factor. Resource availability is also one of the factor. Age group is also one of the factor. So बहुत सारे factor. आप कितने factor लिखेंगे? Age group always as far as mortality is concerned, the child between 0 to 1 year is more susceptible to death in comparison to the child 1 to 5. And within 0 to 1 year, the first month of birth always happens to be very crucial. We call it as infant mortality rate. In India, IMR is very high. And IMR simply suggests that at the time of birth or after just birth, the child is not having the accessibility, availability of healthcare facility. Then in India, one more indicator that is very high, maternal mortality rate. Maternal mortality rate simply represents that the institutional deliveries number of institutional deliveries is less. क्योंकि अगर institutional delivery हो रही है, hospital में हो रही है, institutional delivery हो रही है, hospitals में हो रही है, so the chances of death will be very less. Because delivery is a very natural phenomena. So delivery की वजह से death नहीं होती. Most of the death is post delivery complications. That nursing staff or the one who is doing that is not efficient, trained. So that is why in general you will not find that MMR is very high. So that, and also this is one thing that you need to understand कि डेथ तो बहुत सारी होती है, बट व्हेन वी आर लुकिंग आउट द हेल्थ केयर फैसिलिटी, व्हाई वी ऑलवेज लुक आउट द IMR एंड व्हाई वी ऑलवेज लुक आउट द MMR? बिकॉज MMR सजेस्ट दैट हॉस्पिटल्स, इंस्टीट्यूशनल फैक्टर्स आर नॉट प्रेजेंट. अब अगर MMR हमारा नीचे जा रहा है, लेट सपोज that first we have the MDG goal, Millennium Development Goal 2001 to 2015, and then we have the SDG goal 2015 to 2030. Now maternal mortality rate has come down from 127, it has come down to 45, let's say. But if IMR is not going down, so IMR is not going down means कि हाँ बच्चा तो हो रहा है हॉस्पिटल में, सब कुछ ठीक है, डिस्चार्ज भी हो गए, बट आफ्टर डिलीवरी द नेक्स्ट 30 days द फैमिली और द चाइल्ड इज नॉट गेटिंग द एनफ फूड, न्यूट्रिशन, टेक केयर. दैट इज वाई अगर आप देखेंगे कि गवर्नमेंट ने, बहुत सारी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने, दे हैव कम आउट विद डिफरेंट स्कीम्स जहां पे वो कैश इंसेंटिव्स देते हैं कि जैसे एट द टाइम ऑफ डिलीवरी यू विल बी हैविंग 6,000 रुपीज. तो जो भी कैश डिलीवरी कैश दिया जाता है इन मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टेट, अलग अलग स्टेट में देयर कैन बी अ वेरिएशन ऑफ द अमाउंट, बट यू विल फाइंड दैट मोस्ट ऑफ दोज कैश डिलीवरीज, अर्लियर इट वाज लाइक एट द टाइम ऑफ डिलीवरी इफ यू आर कमिंग टू द इंस्टीट्यूशन और हॉस्पिटल पेमेंट विल बी डन. तो उसका ये था कि ठीक है, कम से कम फैमिली गरीब है, दे आर पुअर एंड दे आर नॉट रेडी टू कम टू द हॉस्पिटल, तो हॉस्पिटल वो नहीं आना चाहते, लेकिन उनको हो गया कि अच्छा ठीक है आपके घर में अगर डिलीवरी होगी तो आपको 6,000 मिलेगा और फ्री में डिलीवरी हो रही सरकारी अस्पताल में. सो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट नाउ दे आर इंटरेस्टेड कि ठीक है कम से कम 6,000 आएंगे, बट गवर्नमेंट इज नॉट गिविंग इमीडिएटली. सो इट इज लाइक डिलीवरी 4,000 है, 2,000 भी बाद मिलेगा. सो ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम गवर्नमेंट विल ऑल्सो एनालाइज कि हाँ ठीक है उसको जो बेसिक टीके लगने चाहिए, वैक्सीनेशन होना चाहिए, वो हो रहा कि नहीं हो रहा. साथ में भी हैव ऑल्सो आंगनवाड़ी स्कीम्स. सो इन थ्रू आंगनवाड़ी गवर्नमेंट इज प्रोवाइडिंग लॉट्स ऑफ फूड आइटम, न्यूट्रिशियस आइटम, तो बहुत सारी चीजें प्रोवाइड की जाती. सो गवर्नमेंट इज वर्किंग ऑन डिफरेंट you can say level to just bring down. So IMR, MMR always happens to be very important, you can say indicator of health care facility. किसी भी स्टेट का अगर आपको एनालाइज करना हो that how they have the basic health care, because delivery is a basic health care facility. क्योंकि अगर आपके यहाँ पे डिलीवरी की व्यवस्था नहीं है, so how you can expect of something like curing diseases of heart related diseases or any other ailment, उसके लिए तो आपको बहुत सारे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर चाहिए होता है. डिलीवरी इज वेरी बेसिक थिंग. सो दैट इज वाई इन जनरल भी अगर आप जीएस में भी आंसर लिखेंगे, सो ऑलवेज रिमेंबर दैट दिस IMR एंड दिस MMR, infant mortality rate and maternal mortality rate, happens to be very important indicator to assess that how well health care facility of that particular area, that particular state. So we have lots of demographic attributes, लेकिन हम सारे demographic attributes we will study when we will study the India geography. So now we are moving to the theoretical aspect. Theoretical aspect of population are simply referred as population theories. Open your syllabus and look out that what are the different theories that are given in your syllabus. So primarily we have Malthusian theory, we have Marxian theory, we have demographic transition theory, we have the optimum population theory. Now, these are the theories that you are supposed to study. ये आपके सिलेबस में भी लिखा है. But before studying these theories, first try to understand that why we need theory, or why these proponents have tried to come out with the concept theory. What was the requirement? Why we needed theory? What was the objective behind giving the theory? Population control, yes. All right. ठीक है. Anything else? ठीक है. Anything else? Good thought process. Anything else? Regional planning, yes, very good. At least your mind is opening to think of other areas of syllabus. Yes, good. Anything else? So why I am asking you to think, or I am sensitizing, क्योंकि मैं भी पढ़ा सकता था बाकी की तरह, ठीक है, Malthus theory, this. Because if you will learn all these things, then the kind of question that is being asked, you will be able to handle. They are not only interested to know that the Robert Malthus or the Malthusian idea kya tha. Or you are writing on some different topic, you can think of. When the Malthus has given the theory, he is the first proponent to come out with the theory. His idea was that how the population knowledge can help the societies. Because nobody has thought of. In a larger sense, yes, it is a regional planning, but it was not regional planning. It was for in general welfarement of the society. How the studies of population will be important for the welfarement of the society, because when you come across with the term governance, that every government they are trying to have a better governance. What this means of better governance is, better governance का measure क्या है, कौन सा parameter है? So better governance के all these are measures. If the societies are having higher literacy rate, higher particularly economic aspect, the GDP is growing, so these are considered. Society's development is happening, welfare is happening, so that is referred as the governance. So in a way you can say it was not being done by any government, but ultimate aim of Malthus was that how the welfare of the people can have through the knowledge of population. Malthus theory, that is Malthusian theory, and demographic transition model, these two models are related to the population. So these two theories has been given related to population. But when Marx have given the theory, so Marx was not interested in giving the population theory. He was writing the evils of capitalist society. So he was just writing the evils of capitalist society, or how the capitalist society needs to be replaced through the communist. In that time period, he was talking about the economic class, the capitalist class, the rich, poor, and while discussing all those, he has given the concept of this population. So Marx was not writing about the population, but yes, he has given a concept of population. Optimum population is more an economic concept. Optimum population is a more economic concept, economic theory, but yes, it is part of our syllabus, so we will also study. So economic, this optimum population, underpopulation, overpopulation, it was not the very much population concept, it was economic concept. Later on, one more economic theory has been given, and that economic theory is considered as the modern version of Malthus. So we call it as Neo-Malthusian. And this is limits to growth. Neo-Malthusian. Limits to growth. मालथूस का आइडिया और लिमिट्स टू ग्रोथ का आइडिया कहीं ना कहीं कुछ हद तक बहुत मिलता जुलता आइडिया था. Alright, so we'll start with the Malthus theory, Malthusian theory of population. As far as Robert Malthus is concerned, he happens to be the British historian. So he is not a geographer or demographer. He is a British historian, and based on the idea of the population of Europe, he has come out with this theory, that is the Malthusian theory. Malthusian theory is based on two assumptions. So Malthus having two assumptions. Malthus is saying that in life there are two things that is must. So Malthus, according to Malthus, there are two things that is must. First, food for survival. Food for survival. And the second thing, passion for sex. So as per Malthus, these are the two basic ingredients for the human beings. So you should not doubt that no, it can be a third. It is the idea of the Malthus. So Malthus have simply suggested that in life or in human being, there are two basic things any human being or any population people will have. One is food for survival and the second one is passion for sex. Over the period of time, now coming to his concept, his theory, this food for survival will grow arithmetically. So the food availability will grow arithmetically. Like if today is 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, so on. But because of passion for sex, population rise geometrically. So population rise geometrically. That is 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, so on. Now tell me, if the food availability increases arithmetically, and population rise will grow geometrically, then over the period of time what will happen? Over the period of time, what will happen? Food? Forget about land. He is not talking about land. He is only talking about food. तीसरा और कोई फैक्टर नहीं. फूड, खाना, पॉपुलेशन. सो फूड पॉपुलेशन है, फूड है, पॉपुलेशन है. फूड भी बढ़ रहा, पॉपुलेशन भी बढ़ रही है. तो पहले फूड और पॉपुलेशन इक्वल है. नाउ फूड बढ़ रहा, पॉपुलेशन भी बढ़ी. फूड बढ़ा, पॉपुलेशन बढ़ी. फूड बढ़ा, पॉपुलेशन बढ़ी. फूड बढ़ा, पॉपुलेशन. सो देयर विल बी अ गैप between available food and population. In other words, you can say the population is not having the food, so what will happen? Now Malthus have suggested two very interesting things. Malthus is suggesting that because of this passion for sex, there will be a geometrical growth of population. Because of this food for survival, there will be arithmetic growth of food. Over the period of time, people will realize that yes, population is going to be very problematic. So the people will realize that population is going to be very problematic. So once the people will realize that population is going to be a problematic, they will come out with some solution. And the solution that the Malthus is offering is preventive check. Now, what he is referring in preventive checks? Delayed marriage, which is prevalent till today. मैंने अभी बताया ही था कि अगर आपकी मैरिज डिले है 29-30 साल में, गर्ल एंड बॉयज दे आर मैरिंग, so the chances of large number of babies is already going down. He is also suggesting of moral restraint. He is also suggesting of celibacy, avoiding the sex, celibacy. So these are the things he suggested. Very interesting. आगे हम लोग क्रिटिसाइज करेंगे. Malthus is writing in 1798. Malthus has written all these in his essay in 1798. And 1798 is like early 19th century. And early 19th century was very developed. In that time period, Europe was very developed. And in Europe, some of the family planning measures like condoms were very frequently used. But Malthus have not used that. Malthus have not suggested that. So this is a very big question. Whether he really was unaware or he was intentionally not suggesting. Anyway, come to the theory. So Malthus is saying there will be a food availability. Food availability will grow arithmetically. Then we have population rise. Population will rise geometrically. Population is rising geometrically, food is growing arithmetically. There will be a gap between the available food and the population. When this gap will start increasing, the people will go for the preventive checks. Which preventive checks he has suggested? That the people can go for the delayed marriage, moral restraint, celibacy. It will give result. So it will give results, and because of this, population will start declining. But once the population will start declining, again the people will be very much comfortable. So once the population will start declining, people will become comfortable. Again they will start practicing the same thing. Passion for sex, food for survival. So and again the population will start rising geometrically, which will ultimately lead to the पॉजिटिव चेक्स. अगर माल्थूस को आप एनालाइज करेंगे, देन यू विल फाइंड इन वन वे और अदर इट वाज अपियरिंग दैट माल्थूस हैज ऑलरेडी मेड हिज माइंड. जैसे कोर्ट में वकील जाता है, सो द एडवोकेट हैज टेकन अ केस. नाउ एडवोकेट विल ऑलवेज बी वेरी क्लियर. इफ दे आर गोइंग फ्रॉम द डिफेंडेंट साइड, सो दे विल डिफेंड. इफ दे आर गोइंग फ्रॉम द स्टेट साइड, सो दे विल ट्राई टू प्रोसिक्यूट. So it is very clear. Means Malthus was very clear. In a way, Malthus has already made up his mind कि society जो है हमारी, it is going to collapse. So he already has made up his mind कि population बढ़ रहा है geometrically, food resources बढ़ रहे हैं arithmetically, ultimately the population is going to collapse. बीच में उन्होंने पॉजिटिव चेक्स की बात की, लेकिन उन्होंने कहा कुछ भी आप कर लो, लेकिन अल्टीमेटली होना क्या है? कोलैप्स. एंड इन कोलैप्स व्हाट आर द पॉजिटिव चेक्स ही हैज सजेस्टेड? मिजरी, विस, पॉवर्टी, वॉर, एपिडेमिक्स. सो कई बार अगर आप क्लोजली देखेंगे तो यस, माल्थूस हैज बीन रिजेक्टेड. माल्थूस हैज बीन रिजेक्टेड. लेकिन अगर आप कोविड-19 को देखेंगे तो एक बार को आपको भी लगेगा कि वॉट एवर हैज माल्थूस हैव सजेस्टेड इज करेक्ट, बिकॉज कोविड-19 इज व्हाट? वी हैव सो मच डेवलपमेंट ऑन ऑल द फ्रंट. अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ फूड, हेल्थ केयर फैसिलिटी, एवरीथिंग इज ऑलमोस्ट, वी हैव रीच्ड टिल मार्स, मून, we have 4G, 5G technology, everything. But an invisible virus has almost compelled the whole humanity to go and sit in their homes. So this is something what Malthus, might be the word can be different because it was his idea, it was his individual idea. But if you will closely analyze the Malthus, you will find that Malthus' positive checks in one way or other is suggestive that yes, at some point of time there will be a collapse of the civilization from this planet. So let's again try to understand the Malthus. बहुत simple theory है. It's a very simple theory, simplistic theory. Malthus theory is based on the how population theories, knowledge of the population will be helpful in the welfarement of the society. ठीक है? Malthus has written an essay in 1798. So Malthus has written an essay on the population rise, population growth. In that essay he has come out with his idea, that is population theory. As per Malthus, we have the two very basic assumptions for the life, for the people. One is food for the survival and the second is passion for sex. Because of this food for survival, the food growth will be arithmetic, and the passion for sex resulted into the geometrical increase of the population. This geometrical increase of the population and arithmetic increase of the food resources will ultimately result into a gap between the available food and the population. So to check that gap, the people will first go for the preventive checks, and some of the preventive checks they will go for is delayed marriage, moral restraint, celibacy. These preventive checks will definitely start giving some result, but ultimately people will become comfortable, so they will be avoiding all these, they will ignoring all these, which ultimately results into the positive checks. Positive checks like misery, wish, poverty, war, epidemics, and it is like a collapse of societies. So this was his idea. Please write few lines. The British economist and historian Thomas Robert Malthus propounded the first population theory in his famous book Essay on the Principle of Population. Essay on Principle of Population. In 1798. In his theory, he established a relationship between population growth and other demographic changes on one hand and socio-economic changes on other hand. Next point. While propounding his theory, Malthus assumed following postulates. Postulate POSTULATES. Postulates is simply the assumptions. First, food is necessary to the existence of human. Food is necessary to the existence of human being. And the population is necessarily limited by the means of subsistence. Second assumption, the passion between the two opposite sexes. Hold on. Just full stop, and in first assumption keep on writing. Also he suggested law of diminishing return, law of diminishing law of diminishing return is applicable on agriculture. Due to which food resources will grow, arithmetically, that is 1, 2, 4, 8, 16 in this manner. ठीक है. Second point. So what I have dictated? Please correct it. Arithmetically already written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please correct it. So food availability will grow arithmetically, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please correct it. Now second point. The passion between the two opposite sexes, is necessary and will remain same in this present stage. Remain same. Full stop. He suggested that if population will grow geometrically, that is 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, if it is unchecked. Also the Malthus suggested that population will get doubled in 25 years if it is unchecked. Next point. Malthus considered these two assumptions as the two essential characteristic for the humans for maintenance of life. It was the second assumption which led people to marry at a relatively early age which resulted in large number of birth and doubling of population in few years. Next paragraph. As the population grows geometrically and food availability arithmetically, population will outrun the food supply which will result into situation of overpopulation. To control this overpopulation, Malthus suggested preventive and positive checks. Next point. According to Malthus, preventive checks are applied by a man himself to control the birth rate, and some of the preventive checks are delayed marriage, moral restraint, celibacy. Next point. If the people will fail to check the population rise, through the preventive checks, the positive checks will operate in the form of misery, vice, famine, misery, vice, VICE, famine, FAMINE, war, disease, he has used a term for epidemics, pestilence. So he has predicted and he has used the term. So pestilence is like epidemics. Which epidemic? Coronavirus. You can write in bracket epidemics like COVID-19. So pestilence, comma, floods and other natural calamities which tends to reduce population and thereby bringing a balance with food supply. So this is the theory, very simple theory, Malthusian theory. Two of the assumptions. Based on the two assumptions, he simply suggested that population will grow geometrically, food will grow arithmetically, and then you will have this positive checks, preventive checks. So theory is very simplistic form, very simplistic theory. Now moving to the next part, because one thing also, one very important thing that you need to learn right from the beginning. Even in GS also you will study some of the concepts, some of the theory. जब GS की geography पढ़ेंगे. One very important difference that you need to understand that is between GS and optional is, in GS you need to consider the thing in its totality. So whatever is there you need to consider that yes, it's correct in totality. But in optional, it is like that if any concept is there, you need to consider those concepts. You need to evaluate those concepts, that why it has been suggested or whether it's correct or not. In a way, almost in all the theory, you need to look out its critical aspect. We call it as criticism, we call it as critical evaluation or simply evaluation. So that is the thing that you need to do, जो GS में नहीं होगा. तो ऑप्शनल में कोई भी कॉन्सेप्ट पढ़ेंगे, एनी कॉन्सेप्ट. सो देयर आर टू थिंग्स दैट यू ऑलवेज नीड टू लुक आउट. वन इज whether it's whatever is being suggested is correct or not, and also relevance. तो मालथूस ने कुछ बताया तो उसका अभी रेलिवेंस क्या है, whether it is applicable or not. So critical evaluation. So what are the problems in his theory? What you can think of is not correct. जो आपको लगता हो, थ्योरी तो समझ गए. So what do you think is not correct? First of all, you just need to understand that he is saying that the food will increases arithmetically. Yes, to certain extent is correct. लेकिन अगर आप इंडिया को देखेंगे तो इंडिया was suffering from the problem of availability of food in 1960s, in 1970s. Then we have launched Green Revolution. Green Revolution has almost changed the entire availability of the food grain. So he has missed that technological advancement which can increase the food availability. सो दैट इज द बिगेस्ट फ्लॉ. उन्होंने ये मान लिया कि नहीं फूड ऐसे ही ग्रो करेगा. एग्रीकल्चर में उन्होंने डिमिनिशिंग रिटर्न की बात किया. बट इन जनरल टेक्नोलॉजिकल एडवांसमेंट कैन result into growing of the agriculture to a catastrophic level. Then more technological advancement, like you will have the biotechnology, BT cotton, BT brinjal, all these things. Then he is missing very important point. He is saying passion for sex, ठीक है, but he is mixing two things. Passion for sex is a biological instinct. But having the children is not a biological instinct. It is a societal aspect. So you cannot mix both. So that is one of the biggest flaw. He has misinterpreted the biological aspect with the social aspect. So that is one of the very important flaw. Then as I said that he hasn't considered the family planning that was very much available in those time period. So why he has not included that? Because family planning, birth control measures were very much available in Europe in those time period. So why he hasn't considered? Then coming to his positive checks, he is saying war, civil war to a certain extent can be said to be, but war is not associated with the population. Why Russia and Ukraine is fighting is not associated with the population. Or flood is not associated with the population. Flood will occur in very less populated area also, and it will be occurring very high populated area also. So these are the major pointers of criticism. So you can note it down.
You were telling about technology, but he was not aware at that time maybe that technology development.
Yes, that is why, that is the thing, that he was not aware. But that is a drawback. This was the drawback, that he has not. Drawback means he is demeaning capability of human. It is like you came to me and I have asked two questions, and based on two questions I am saying नहीं कर पाओगे. So I am demeaning that might be in right now your level is not, but once you will invest 2-year time period, you can qualify. So that was his biggest drawback, because in that time period technological advancement has started being. रेलवे आ गया था, इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन शुरू हो गया था. So how is it possible that he hasn't foreseen, he has considered that the agriculture will grow only arithmetically? Please write. Malthus assumption of passion between sexes have been criticized on the plea that desire to have children is a social instinct, whereas desire for sex is a biological instinct. Also, next point, arithmetic growth of food resources and geometrical growth of population have been challenged as in actual calculation, it has not been seen. Also, increase in the next point, increase in the population is mainly due to better healthcare facilities, which ultimately brought down death rate without affecting the birth rate. Also, next point, the time span of 25 years, for doubling population is far from reality. Next point. Malthus has given more importance to the positive checks Malthus considered, or Malthus has given more importance to positive checks over preventive checks, as he considered the preventive checks are like unnatural. इन ब्रैकेट वहां पे एक लिख सकते हो आप कि because his writing suggests that he happens to be more orthodox. So you can write in bracket. It suggests of his belief of religious orthodox. Close the bracket and write in the same point. Also he haven't suggested about the use of contraceptives. Suggested about the contraceptives, which became popular in later period and have been very successful in controlling the population. Last point you can write. Malthus have been heavily criticized for ignoring the role of changing technology and consequent improvement in the level of subsistence and transformation in social and economic setup of a society. Full stop, and you can write like green revolution in India and industrial revolution in Europe and industrial revolution in Europe have disproved the idea of Malthus. All right, so these are the criticism, and this is all about the Malthusian theory. Malthusian theory happens to be, we have lots of criticism, lots of problem, but also you need to appreciate that he was writing in 1798, and even when the population was not being considered as full-fledged part of the geography. So he is propagating the theory, he is coming out with a theory, so that is very importantly need to be appreciated. So that's it for the Malthus. We'll continue discussion in the next class. So that's it for today. Thank you.